Hey everyone, it's Michael Kikle. I hope you're doing well today. I have a review here for one of my favorite cartoons of all time. It's actually the first review I'm doing for the channel, and I hope that you'll enjoy this video, matter of fact. It's a review for Cartoon Network's possibly best cartoon, aside from my personal favorite of all time, cartoon-wise, Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. This is Ed, Edd, and Eddy. Now, this says complete series. It's a lie. It's clearly a lie. The specials aren't in there because they outsourced them to, I think, other companies, something like that. Apparently you can watch those and the single movie that ends the show, called Ed, Edd, and Eddy's Big Picture Show, on Amazon Prime. That's where I watched them when I was watching through the series in this set. And this set is worth the money, the 50 bucks I paid for it, but I'd rather have everything in there if you're going to call it the complete series. Why would you lie, Cartoon Network? Why would you do that, WB? Anyway, Ed, Edd, and Eddy started in 1999, and I used to see on the VHS tapes I had of things like Scooby-Doo, just these teasers at the front of those VHS tapes that I still have all the way over there, of like a static background and these three guys running across the screen, and it said, Ed, Edd, and Eddy, coming soon. Never saw it, didn't really get to watch cable and cartoons on TV much when I was younger, and I waited around. I got a couple of years older, the show had started, and I think around 2000, 2001 was really when I got to start watching the show, and I loved it. Everything about it that you could love, I loved. Everything about this quality, fun, hilarious cartoon that has stuck with me my entire life, and watching it again now, it still holds up. It ran till 2008. Can you believe that? It almost made it 10 whole years. And like I said, it got a final movie, I think in 2008 or 2009, one of those 2 years. Ed, Edd, and Eddy is a classic of a cartoon. If you've not seen it, you are missing out. Basically, these three friends right here, for anybody who doesn't know about the show, I will give a quick summary of the ideas of it. Being a cartoon, it gets kind of repetitive. But anyway, you have these three fellows right here who are Eddy, double D, who's Ed, but spelled with two Ds, like in the title right here, and Ed, who's an idiot, and his name is just Ed, or I guess Ed. This one is this one, this one is this one, and this one is that one. These guys are hilarious. Basically, there are three lifelong friends at this point who live in a cul-de-sac in a suburb, and they like to scam local kids in the neighborhood out of their quarters so they can go to a candy shop to buy Jawbreakers, their personal favorite candy. And man, the Jawbreakers are huge. They're bigger than these people's heads. When they put them in their mouths, their whole jaw like swells out to here like they have cancer or something. It's insane to me. These three guys, Ed, Edd, and Eddy, are hilarious. Of course, this one right here is the most greedy, Mr. Eddy right here. Double D is the smart one who helps build all these inventions to scam kids in the neighborhood, but he has a good heart on him. He's a good guy. I love Double D. He's probably my personal favorite as a kid, but now as an adult, Ed, the big dumb one, is my absolute favorite. Dude, Mad Hill plays him so perfectly. Sam Vincent plays Double D so perfectly. Everybody cast for this show, whether it be the three Eds or the neighborhood kids, they're all hilarious. They are perfectly casted. Their jokes, their writing of the show for these characters and these actors are brilliant. Everybody's amazing. And I guess I'll get into some of the local kids in the neighborhood too. You have my personal favorite of the side characters in the show, Rolf, who's kind of just a foreign guy. We don't really know where he came from in Europe. He has a very weird accent that kind of changes up. But Rolf has a pig. I think his name is Wilbur? Wilfred? Wilfred is the name. He does like farming and stuff. He's kind of a tough guy in general, but he's kind of naive, you know, but I love Rolf, dude. He's so funny. The sound effects he makes and everything. The guy who plays this man, if you've not seen the behind the scenes footage of that guy, he's a fucking kook, dude. I love it. It's hilarious. Then you have Kevin, who when I was a kid, I pictured Kevin as the school bully, if you will. But Kevin is really the good guy. When you grow up, you realize that. He's stopping these three kids from scamming other kids in the neighborhood out of their money for scams, like different projects, like fake gyms and stuff like that. Kevin is the good guy, and I never really thought about that as a kid, but now as an adult, like I said, it's a realization and it hits hard, dude. Then you have other kids like Sarah, the younger sister of Ed, the big dumb one. She is mean, she's crazy, she's loud, but again, that casting, perfect. She has a best friend named Jimmy, who's a very, shall we say, effeminate little fellow who has a retainer around his mouth. He's kind of conniving and sneaky on some episodes. They really developed Jimmy very well. I really like Jimmy a lot, too. I love every character in the show, including another favorite of mine, Johnny, who is a schizophrenic who has a little piece of wood named Plank that has a smiley face drawn on it, and he talks to it all the time, but no one, including us, can hear Plank say anything back, but Johnny swears that Plank talks to him. Then you have Naz, the kind of local chick that all the guys are obsessed with. They're all thinking she's cute and stuff. And Naz is really funny too. I like her a lot. This show, I love the distinct art style that I had never seen in anything before it, and I think it proves how revolutionary Cartoon Network's animation was back then. Disney had good animation, Nickelodeon had good animation when I was a kid too around this time, but Ed, and Eddy is very particular. Characters can stand still, and instead of just having a framed, standalone, not moving shot of somebody standing and looking at something, they'll kind of flicker back and forth like a flame on a candle. It's kind of unique. I really dig that about it. But the animation to this day holds up amazingly so. In the later couple of seasons, they kind of take the kids out of the cul-de-sac, where most of the show seems to take place during the summertime, we assume, when everybody's bored, they're hanging out in the sunlight, in the cul-de-sac, in the alleyways of their city. But later seasons, they take them into school. And we have like the whole color scheme kind of change a little bit to get darker tones, very fall tones, which was kind of a weird change up. And I do think, despite the show being amazing, those later seasons are kind of weak because of that fall setting, putting the kids back in school, which removes that summertime feeling that I think everybody loves about Ed, and Eddy. And even the music of the show feels like 1950s, 1960s movie music, like beach music, like think Beach Boys or something. And I love that music. It complements the show tremendously. It really kind of takes it out of time. It's not really a movie, or a show, excuse me, taking place in the 90s, or even in the 2000s, as most of the run happened to be in. It's kind of its own thing, and its own little world outside of the time that we live in. And I love that about it. It's just very unique. But again, when it goes into the school setting later in seasons, it's really not amazing. It's still fun to watch because you love these characters after watching season after season of them for 4 or 5 years, basically. But the fall setting, the color change and all of that, it's a little different. It's a little different. It takes some getting used to. The school setting takes some getting used to. I guess the creators ran out of ideas for just cul-de-sac scams and schemes. I don't know. But it's not bad, to be honest with you. It gets just as good as ever, and I really love Ed, and Eddy as always. This is not a complete box set, like I said, but it's worth your money if you can find it. I love it. It's a great show, a big show that I recommend quite a bit. I love it quite a bit. It has so much to offer. In nostalgia for people like me, in comedy for people who have never seen it. Kids, if you haven't seen Ed, and Eddy, go check it out. It's absolutely worth your time, your money, everything. It is so funny, so hilarious, and I do recommend even the movie that comes out after this, which I'll review immediately after this video in case you're curious about it. But anyway, I don't think I have anything else to cover with the show. I love it. I think it's a classic, obviously, and it might be my second favorite behind Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy cartoon of all time. It's one of those classics from the 90s and 2000s that really proved that that was the peak of animation and cartoons, in my personal opinion. No bias there. Up there with things like Rugrats, things like, what else can I think of right now? Dave the Barbarian from Disney, which never gets any love. It's on YouTube in case you'd like to go check that out. It's a classic as well. I guarantee you'll laugh if you watch it. Anyway, when it comes to Ed, and Eddy, if I had to rate this amazing show on a 5-star basis, even though the later seasons get weaker, I would still give this show a 5 out of 5 stars. I really love it. I think it is so funny, so genuine. It knew it was doing something different at its time, and it really... Anybody my age, you can say the names Ed, and Eddy, and they will know what it is, what it looks like, what the animation style was like. Everybody has seen at least one episode of this if they were my age, and it's great for that. 5 out of 5 stars for me. Love it deeply. And again, tune in after this video for a review of The Big Picture Show, which is the movie, the only Ed, and Eddy movie as far as I know, that is based on this. Anyway, thank you all for watching, guys. Catch you later. God bless you all, and goodbye.